This one is more what happened before the race, because you don't just show up to a 100-mile race if you're right in the head and making regular human decisions. So I think that all kind of started in 2021 when the pandemic kind of ended. People were starting to go outside and I wasn't. And my coworker Lynn, who is not here today, we all know Lynn,
Yeah.
For the past 6 years, he's been kind of saying, you should come run with us. Come run with the group. I've said, no. Do I look like a runner to you? I didn't. I was much heavier than that. And so I never came. Until July, I think it was, 2021. I got fed up. I said, fine. I'll come run. It's a 2-mile run on a Tuesday or something. No big deal. So I get out there. It's 2 miles one way, 2 miles back. So I ran about a mile. It felt good. I mean, I was keeping up, and then I wasn't. I brought a water bottle. That was gone. There was a lot of walking. So why do I bring this up? This has nothing to do with the 100 miles, except this is where I started. And the only reason I got to the 100-mile start line is because of the Sunstone group. And a lot to do with Lynn for getting me to come out in the first place. So how do we get from 4 to 100?
Yeah.
There's a lot to do. A lot of free time. A lot of time that wasn't free that ended up being used for runs.
I'm being crazy.
He's getting to that. Because you don't do this if you're, put together right. So I'll just jump ahead to this last year. I guess I'll start with 2022, where another Sunstone group member, Dustin, not here, he's in Texas. He may be back someday, we'll see. He said, you should run an ultra. I said, that's insane, I've never run more than 10 miles. We're not gonna do that. Then I ran the Vancouver Lakes Half Marathon with all of you. It's like our race, really. So I did that one. And he said, well, we signed up for this ultra, you should run it. I was like, 13, 30, there's a difference there. It's not crazy. So then I went to bed one night, couldn't sleep, woke up a few times, 3 in the morning, pull up the phone, I go to my favorite website now, Ultra Sign Up. Found this race that he kept asking me about. Oh well. Purchased. And then that was it. So that's my first ultra.
Wow.
And the reason I bring that up is because running is a drug. And every time I did a race, I got another hit of that sweet, sweet drug. So, what's next? I sign up for a 30. I might as well sign up for a 50. So I signed up for the 50 with them. That one didn't go to plan, so I had something to prove, signed up for another 50. I finished that one. The sky's the limit. Keep going up. This is what goes through your head when you're not right. So then we get to this year. I've done a 50. Everybody keeps talking about these 100-mile races. That's what all the pros do.
Nobody is talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it.
I've never done it.
So what do? 2 in the morning. You sign up for a 100-mile race. And that's when it sinks in, because that's insane. It's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
So then you start searching how to train for a 100-mile race. Because I didn't think about that ahead of time. So once again, we go back to the Sunstone group. We have a friend here who ran that same race. He's not with us today, but he's out there thinking about the Sunstone group, I hope. And that's Mark.
Yeah.
So, hey Mark, you did this 100-mile race, right? How did you do it? Well, you know how Mark likes to take control. He sent me his training plan. It's like, that sounds better than anything I came up with. So that's what we did. At some point, you just wonder why you're doing this. Then you look back to the Sunstone group and you find out why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Because of all the support you give me, all the support you give each other.
We love you, man.
Hopefully, a little bit that I can give back maybe someday. So the start of the race. It's kind of a weird setup. You don't run through the start. You'd be like packed behind it, but it's not like a continuous course. So we're all jammed together. We're running through the start line. And we get onto this first road. And we're basically getting a single file line. Pretty easy at that point. I just followed who's in front of me. In the first 12 miles, feeling great. The sun's rising. I mean, I have all this energy. I mean, I'm going to finish this race. No big deal. Easy peasy. And the reason I bring up the first 12 miles is because that is the only part of the race that went to plan. Didn't take long. Ran those 12 miles. I was feeling strong. I was crushing it, running down the hills, keeping up with the people in the front. I fell twice, hurt my hand, I was bleeding. I didn't care, it felt great. Get to mile 10, it's getting a little warm out, but I'm great. And we pull into mile 12. This was the first loop. You get back to the start line. And at the start line, I have my crew with me. Nicole was there. And I see all those smiling faces of the people I know. And there's all those smiling faces, I don't care about them. Just look at the people I know, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. It's 12 miles in, 12%.
12%.
So I get to the cruise station, got some hot spots in the feet, so I'm going to take a little bit of time. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm going to patch those up. You don't want blisters, because it's a long time to run on blisters. So I take off my shoes, and Mark takes control immediately. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Let me put some bandages on your feet. Let me take your socks and iron them out for you. I mean, it's great. I need a massage, Mark. I need a massage. So I head out on the course, a little bit of a climb. I take off, feeling good still, but I can sense, it's going to get tough here. So I keep running, and I'm still running at this point. That's going to end soon. So I start running again, drinking the hydration, the tailwind in the back, got the bottles in the front, full of water, and I'm just sucking it down because you got to stay ahead of it. 10 miles later, mile 22, sucking on the straw, nothing's there. Pushing on the chest flasks, nothing's there. I just drank 3 liters of water in 10 miles. And now I'm out. And the temperature's still rising. So here's where all the plans out the door. Didn't last long. I gotta slow down. I'm dying. All of a sudden the cramps start. It's feet, it's legs, it's arms. My ears pop when I get dehydrated, so that's how I always know. And all of a sudden they're kind of ringing and pop.
Wow.
Mile 22 or mile 24, I pull into the next aid station. Fill me up. They take my things, fill me up, put some ice water in the bladder. That's all right. I'm okay. I can still move. Keep drinking. Chug some water. Leave the aid station. Before I go, they're kind enough to let me know that it's all uphill to the next one. I'm fully excited. Thanks. I was about to find that out, but I'd like to have foreshadowing. I start feeling good again. I feel this coolness in my lower half. Like, what's going on? My butt's sweaty? I don't care. It feels great. Then I realized I don't normally sweat this cold. Wait a minute. My hydration bladder's leaking. But it feels great. So let's roll with it. Nothing I could do. But then I started thinking, well, better in than out, or someone told me something like that, I don't know. So I started drinking as fast as I can because I don't want to lose it. It's a little bit in the dirt. But it feels good. So I get my second wind, my first second wind. And I keep running, gotta get to the next aid station. I think it's 8 miles later, again, out of water, but I'm feeling a little better. Get to the next aid station, ask them, yeah, my bladder's leaking. Fill it up though, it'll hold. Pours in some water, rushes out the bottom, it's not holding. We rip the bladder out, throw it in the trash. This wasn't part of my training plan. I didn't just, randomly throw equipment away in the middle of the training plan. Just another thing you discover during a race that you just have to deal with. So how did I deal with it? Well, I don't know. I couldn't stop there, so I had to keep going. Because at mile 40, my crew's waiting for me. I got to at least make it back to them. This aid station, I walk in, not running, I walk into this aid station. Everybody cheers. Everybody cheers like I just put on the best performance of my life. I'm just walking in. They cheered like crazy. I started moving a little faster. I'm now trotting, but it's a sprint at that point. That's as best I could do. So I get in this aid station. I'm done running. I mean, I'm gonna drop. Fully committed to dropping. I just have to let them know. So I get into the aid station. Mark finds me. He runs up. He knows I'm not doing well. I don't know it at the time though. I just feel like I'm talking to Mark. So he's like, go get some food. Get your drop bag. We can't get it. Go get your drop bag and go get some food. So I'm like, okay, I'll get some food. So I walk over to the food, find my drop bag, I hand it to him. I go get some, I don't know, broth, noodles, whatever they had. Trying to work through I'm gonna tell them I'm done running. So I get that food and I walk back, walking slow. My pace is there. He wasn't there at the start line. He had to drive from Seattle, but he's there now. I see him, I give him a hug. I'm like, thanks for coming. How am I going to tell him that he came for no reason because I'm not running anymore? Holding the potatoes out front. I brought some potatoes. Well, he's going to make me eat them because I think he knows what I want to say and he's not going to let me say it. So I potatoes. They're picking all the trash out of my running vest and they're replacing the things in the wrong areas, but that's okay. They notice I don't have a bladder anymore. Mark's like, well, I got my bladder, you can have it. I have a germ thing, Mark. Well, okay, fine, it's already in my bag. I'll worry about that later. Michael's not there though. That's weird. But they're packing up my vest. You don't know why because I'm not running anymore, but I haven't told them yet. But I'm eating those potatoes, eating the noodles, eating the broth. All right, I'm feeling better, but I can't run. My legs are cramped. My foot hurts. My ears are popped. I'm dehydrated. Nothing I put in me is fixing it. So I'm going to tell him. All of a sudden he's like, eat some more potatoes. So, I put some more potatoes in my mouth and I start chewing. You don't need to chew. Fill up your mouth and walk out of here. What? Just fill up your mouth and walk out of here. I don't want to. But I did. So I put some more potatoes in my mouth. And I just put some more potatoes in my mouth. And now I'm standing up with a mouthful of potatoes and they're putting this vest on me. A new bladder in the back. Bottles filled in the front. And I'm mouthful of potatoes. I can't say anything now. I gotta finish this thing, don't I? So I take a step, I take a step, I take a step. All those crews for all those other runners are there. They all start cheering again. This time my performance was better because they're cheering louder. Because they've seen a lot of runners come through in the same shape as me. They know what it takes to get us back out there. So I'm back out on the course. Why am I out here? I don't know. It hurts. I hurt. Everything's falling apart. I have this 24-hour plan I had laid out. Every time I'm going to get every aid station. That's out the window now. So I'm out there on the course now, and here comes Michael. Hey, what are you doing out here? So he runs up to me. Have you seen Mark? Isn't that your job? He's back at the aid station. Why aren't you? We went for a run around the lake. I lost him. But he's back at the aid station. He says some bad words. I can't repeat their children. How are you? Oh my God, I don't know. I'm not doing great. Really dehydrated. I feel my best. Oh. Go get him! I forget what he said. He knew where Mark was. I think he was really worried about him. I think Mark hurt his foot at that time. I forget what he said, but it felt good at the moment. This time I realized that I repeated 30 miles. So I stopped to try. Nothing. Just keep walking. Go to get like a snack out of my vest. Some long pie. Take out all the snacks, put them in my mouth as I rearrange my pack. They didn't know what they were doing. Finally, everything's in the right place, and I'm walking to the next aid station. It's going to be a long 60 miles. 2 runners passed me. How's it going? Well, not great. Cramping a bit. Oh yeah, it got hot out here, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Well, don't worry, you'll get over the cramps. You got plenty of time. I laughed at first too, but and I thought about it. I got plenty of time. You normally don't think, you run a marathon, you only have a few hours to get over cramps. You're not going to do it. I got all day. I got a day and a half. That actually helped a lot because I knew now, I do have time to get over this. I can walk a long time before I run out of time. So I do. I know how long I have to the next aid station. Finally, the sun is starting to set. I can start calming down, start hydrating, eating those salt tabs, eating the salty snacks, replenishing all that stuff I lost, and it's not going away now because it's getting cooler. Get to that aid station. It's the Y East aid station. They always do a great job. There's people sitting on the side, feeling about as good as I am, being attended to by all the volunteers. There's people in the back lying down, sleeping. That sounds like a good idea. I roll in, I sit down, I put on my, saddest face, looking for sympathy. Looking at all the volunteers, they're all busy. They'll find me eventually. Sometimes you're just on your own. So I got up. I see all these people sitting around me. They're getting worse by the minute. I'm getting worse by the minute, and I don't want to end here. I don't want to run backwards to the aid station that I just came from, so might as well go forward. Get some food in me. Realize at this moment, the crew got me out of the last scam, but I have to get me out of this one. So I stand up, and I walk out of there too. No potatoes this time. Walk by a little crater lake again. It's a nice little lake. So I get to mile 50, and I take a few more steps. Now I'm past 50. I've done something more than I've done. But the aid station's at 55, so I have to at least get to there. So I push on through to mile 55. I roll into the aid station. It's late now. Nobody's happy, except the volunteer leader. He's pretty upbeat. Good for him. I sit at the only open chair. I look around at all the faces. There's one guy in the cot. He's not in good shape. There's 2 guys on that cot. They're each wishing the other one would leave so that they could lay down. There's 2 people in chairs, just kind of staring at the dirt. And there's this woman next to me. And she's real close, so I can see her real well. Wearing a sleeping bag and 3 jackets. Sipping something steaming. Maybe it's broth, maybe it's coffee, I'm not sure. But I'm so close I can see that her lips are blue. And she is shaking violently. All of a sudden she starts taking off the coats. She starts taking off that sleeping bag. And she gets out this space blanket, that was on top. She pins it around her neck like a cape. Still shaking. Still lips are blue. She stands up and she starts walking towards walking out of the aid station. And the crew leader comes over and looks at her and puts his hands on her shoulder and says, "Look, I cannot stop you from leaving, but I'm really worried you're going to get a mile out of this aid station and collapse, and no one's going to know. This is just a race. Your life is worth more than this." So she takes this in, takes a few more steps towards the exit, and then sits back down. So now I'm looking at her thinking, I cannot get to this point. I don't want to be the next pep talk. So I asked for some more broth or some mashed potatoes at that point. She looks at me and says, shaking still, shivering, "Maybe we can just walk out of here together. She's looking at me, thinking I'm as bad off as she is. I probably am. I don't even think I answer her. I don't feel like I could be responsible for myself. I definitely could be responsible for two. So I sit there and I think a little bit, and then someone asks, "You want some coffee?" And I overhear it, and I'm like, "I'll take some coffee." And then they say to another person, "Oh, we have hot chocolate too. You can mix it, make a mocha." I was like, "Yeah, I want a mocha too." I want a mocha out here in the cold. So I start walking out of the aid station. Once I get outside, I know I can't just go back. That'd be weak. No chump. So I keep moving. And I realize that I brought this little device with me, this InReach device, it's a satellite communications device. There's no cell service there, no happy messages on my phone, but I'm like, I gave this thing out to so many people. Why is nobody talking to me?
What happened to Nicole?
What happened to Nicole? She definitely said she would message me. And all day long, I got one message from my friend back home. So good on him. I pull out my phone, which is linked to it, and I start scrolling. It's like, I have dozens of messages that never notified me. So I'm walking now, reading these messages on my phone. And so many people had so many great things to say. And Nicole did as well. I can't repeat them, she'll stab me. But all of a sudden, I'm not in the race anymore, suffering with cramps. All of my family, my friends, some of the Sunstone community are all just wishing me the best, telling me how inspiring I am being to them.
No, not to me.
I gotta do more to impress everybody. And I realized at that moment that I just started this running journey, relying on all of these guys as support, as inspiration, to guide my next event, to go for my next goal. And now maybe, just maybe, I'm able to give back a little bit and inspire some of you all. So that just lifted me right out of the pit that I was in.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I started running. Again, first time in 30 miles. And it's a fast pace. At least 13-minute miles. But it's running. And I did. I ran from mile 55 to mile 62. Doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things. But when you walked, maybe jogged, but then went back to walking on and off for so many hours, this felt great. Mile 72, that's when I get my pacer. All I gotta do is get to there, and my pacer's gonna get me to the end. That's his job. So I'm ready to go. I don't wait this time. I'm not there for 5-10 minutes, back on my feet, and Mark walks me out of the aid station. We head out. He's like, "You see that strip of lights? There's some holiday lights. You just follow those onto the trail." I was like, "Great. Can't miss those or lit up." I start running, and I see the lights, and I keep on running. Probably run for a mile before I realize I'm all alone. I don't see any headlamps. Turn around, look into the forest. Oh, there's some headlamps over there.
That's the wrong one.
Oh, I'm supposed to go to the left side of the lights. But 100 miles isn't enough, so we can add a few. I run back to the aid station, make sure no one sees me, because that's embarrassing. Hop on the course. All right, back on track. And I keep running. I don't want to get back to the walking stage because that'll suck. So I get to mile 72. This is that big aid station. The first one I came through, I was dying. This time on the top of the world. Mike's there, shivering, with his vest on, ready to run. Michael and Mark are there, barking orders at me. I love it. Stop by the bathroom. We get to like mile 80. And the sun is finally on the horizon. The sky used to be just pitch black. Now it's a little brighter. And this is it, I heard everybody told me when that sun rises, immediate second wind. there's no way you can stay down when you run through the night and you see that sunrise. So I'm holding on to that feeling as the sun is rising, And we're slogged. It's a slog. I mean, I'm barely moving again. All that inspiration I had is gone. I'm miserable. Just want it to be over. That sun is rising, so I'm just gonna wait for that. Hold on to that. I don't know if I have it in me to finish, but he's not gonna let me lay down and die, so he keeps getting me to move. At some point, I eventually just tell him, I think this is the pace, Mike. He's like, that's all right. You're still moving. I take heart to that, I'm still moving. It's not easy. Nothing went to plan. I'm stronger than I feel like I am right now. I felt like I should be stronger than that. But I'm still moving, so maybe I am as strong as I thought I was. Mile 97 is just up there. It's the last crewed aid station, 3 miles from the finish. It's kind of annoying. You have to leave the course, go downhill to this aid station.
Oh.
The only thing you can think of is the end is right over there. Why am I going down here? They needed to fill out the 100, so they thought, let's add in one more hill. So I go down to that aid station, I sit down, Mike's there, Mark's there. They're giving me words of encouragement. Mark takes control like always, takes my vest off, starts opening pockets. You don't need this. You don't need this. You don't need this. I'm like, well, maybe I don't. No, you don't need this. Empties everything. All I got now is water, one snack, and my trekking poles. Don't need anything else. All the goals are gone. This is the first one. What do I have to prove? Still thinking in my head, no one's going to judge me if I drop right now. Where am I going to go? Well, I guess I could just walk to the end. Oh, well, then maybe I'll just walk to the end and not drop. Means I'm going to finish, right? So Mike's having a tough time getting me moving. Everything hurts again. That foot pain that I thought was just cramps, that must be a real injury. People are passing me again. I don't like it. Mile 98, mile 99. Starting to feel the end coming. But it still seems like it's so far away. I can see where we're supposed to be and we have to run this way, so it's really disheartening. Mile 99, mile 100. Are we supposed to be done? Mile 100.5. I see this little downhill section that leads to a rock road. I know this rock road. It leads to this start line. I know it leads to the finish line. I take those poles. I look at Mike, carry these poles. The ones you know. Okay. He takes the poles, packs them up, and I run as fast as I can. I'm talking back down to 13-minute miles.
Yeah.
And I just keep running, and I get to that end, I get to the finish line, I see the finish line, and I keep running, and I pass the finish line, and there's this lake in front of me. It looks so nice. And I just keep running. And I get down to the edge of the water. Everybody's behind me. I did it. I finished this race. I just kept running. I didn't expect that to happen.
You did it, man.
I started shedding tears, hiding it. I know that for this event, the race directors always come over, give you your buckle, give you a finisher glass, and give you a hug. They're gonna come give me a hug.
What were they?
I don't want them to see me cry. So I'm wiping my eyes as I see them approaching. Then I start crying again. Did I give you a hug first?
No, that's loud.
Scratch that from the record. I see my crew. I see Nicole. I can't hold it back anymore. Overwhelmed with emotions. Overwhelmed with gratitude. The first thing I thought is I've held these people hostage for 27 hours and 31 minutes. Mike had to drive down from Seattle just to walk 30 miles. But they did it for me, and I finished because of them. Then I remembered that all of you were, because
Lieutenant.
back here, checking in the progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good job, Nicole.
And I remember now, I did it for all of you.
Yeah.
I did it because of all of you. Every race that I've done is because you've all told me I can when I said I couldn't. I'm only running because Lynn told me I could when I told him I couldn't. And everything I do from here on, I'm sure I'll come back to you and tell you I can't. And you all tell me that I can't.